Good morning. How is everyone today? So, I wanted to come on because I really wanted to come on and speak. And just before coming on, I was reflecting on how much I love to process through writing, through speaking, through being on camera. And just connecting with that realization made me feel really, really happy. And then I started to ask myself, why don't I go on and speak? Because it's something that I love to do. If you hear that noise, that's someone's cutting a tree down. So that's what's happening there. And so here I am. And the one thing that I really want to talk to you about today is how do you start doing what you love versus doing what you should be doing. It's this needing that you need to follow things to do a certain way, because I know that, hey, welcome, I see someone is here. Feel free to just say hi. I cannot work out where the comments are right now. Hey, I see you now. Hey, Madalena, how are you this morning? How's it going? Hope you're doing good. So as I was saying, you really want to do something, and yet in your mind you think, oh no, I should be doing it this way. I should be doing something completely different. But in reality, when you start to judge yourself, or when you start to think, you should be doing this or the other, you're not really giving yourself the freedom. You're not really listening to yourself, what you really want to be doing, because when you really focus and listen to what you want to be doing, in your mind it sounds something completely the opposite of what you think you should be doing. How are you, Madalena? It's nice to see you live. Hope your morning is going well. And how do you then start to distinguish and actually act on what you want to be doing? Like for me, like I shared before going on this live, I was just reflecting that I love to speak. I love to share. I love to teach. I just love to speak in general. And why aren't I doing more of that? The thing that I really love to do. And instead I'm holding myself back. I'm contracting. And then I just did it. So I just came on here. That's just me doing what I want. So instead of being in your head trying to analyze, I should be doing this, why don't you instead just take the action and do the thing that you want to do and then forget about it? Hey, Mena, nice to see you. How are you this morning? Because that is part of the process. That is part of you gaining the confidence to move forward. Then little by little, you will take the action naturally more on the things that you want, and you won't feel so scared, and you won't feel like, oh no, I should be doing that over there. But no, actually, I really just want to lay here on this couch. I am lying here on this couch talking to you, because that also used to be something in my head. I thought I needed to go sit in a room for it to be nice and tidy, for I to be wearing something professional, for the camera, to be professional, everything, the whole works. In actual fact, it just made me feel the opposite. I didn't feel me. I didn't feel at home. And have you realized that if you're not feeling you, no matter what you're doing out of your head, it's just not going to work. So you need to identify what is it that you want to do for yourself first. Not what you think you should be doing in your head, not what you think, your partner or your parents or society is telling you to do, or what business is telling you to do. Thanks. Yes, that's it. You need to focus on what is it that you really want to do, because at the end of the day, you're here to live your own life. You're not here to live your parents' life. You're not here to live, how it, this idea of how society and business is. I really call it lies, because that's not how it is. You are here as a freeing human being. Yes, you're also having your own energetic experience, but at the end of the day, you're here because you want to, and now you get to decide, what do you want to create? What do you want to do? If, inside, you just really just want to rest. Like yesterday, instead of me going to clean, like in my mind, I was thinking, that the room is messy, everything. No, I didn't feel like that. I just felt like watching Netflix. And I don't usually watch Netflix in the middle of the day. But that's really what I wanted to do, to just relax and enjoy. And I did that. And that was fantastic. It's what I really wanted and needed. So that's like a basic example. But do you see how this is in every area of your life? Everywhere, in relationships, in your business, in your career. And if you start making those little subtle changes in where you are, in choosing to focus on what you want in the moment, what do you want to do now? What do I want to do now at this moment? Instead of, what do I think I should be doing? That is in a way limiting you from actually opening yourself up to receive and creating, because the mind can make us feel like we're this small and make us feel very trapped and contracted. So you want to take that mind and put it over there, and if it comes up, I really, it's useful if you're doing your taxes, or if it's useful you're doing something to do with the like blasting things, taxes, anything to do with taxes. And if there's a deadline on that kind of scale, then you can use it. But otherwise, a good tip is to throw out your mind, especially if you live in your mind. Throw it out, put it to the side, and instead focus on what's going on inside. What do you want to do? So I do wonder where the limit between indulging and being lazy is. That's a good point, Madalena. So you can give me an example. When does it show up for you when you're being lazy? Say, for instance, like for me, in the past, there was a point where I was in that. I was not doing anything because I was always on the receiving end. I was always doing what I wanted. That, in a way, I was not taking responsibility for placing systems in place for, like tidying up the house or doing much more serious things that left me from. So what it is, right, is that for me, I'm very creative, but I need structure, and I cannot just be left to do whatever. So I have a structure that I needed to put in place, otherwise I will be still doing whatever and lazy. That has helped me to identify, when I am free to do whatever I want, so I don't have to put pressure on myself. Okay, that's a good example. Lazing on the couch in the evening instead of taking action for your business. But the thing is, do you actually want to take action at that moment? It's not that you need to. And also, are you thinking about taking action every evening? And also, what kind of action? Because that's another thing. We often think, we need to be taking action, but it's like the energy behind it and the specific action that you're taking. It's not just any action. So you could even take one little action today that you really want, and then carry it on in the evening, enjoying yourself. It's like, where is your energy in that case, and what action are you talking about? Okay, so for example, reading through course materials that I should be doing. So with reading course materials, is that something that is most urgent at the moment for you? Are you going to why is that urgent for you? What would it help you in terms of reading through course materials? And also, what are you avoiding? Okay, because there's like different elements to it. And if we really identify where you are, then it becomes easier to move through it. And it doesn't feel like this daunting task. And that's the thing. Again, I just think of, when we really want to do something that is good for us, we stop ourselves from doing it and we do like the total opposite. Okay, I believe being lazy for a day with feeling bad about it will give us energy to go forward, but continuous self-blaming will hold us back. Okay, so I believe being lazy for a day without feeling bad about it will... Yeah, Mena, you've said it spot on. And the thing is, it could, being lazy, why not just see it as you relaxing? You don't have to see it as a negative thing. If you just want to relax, you could just relax and see it and focus, being in the moment on that. You don't need to think it's really a negative thing. So it's like, what are you prioritizing right now? And you need to see that, you have freedom here. There isn't it's not black and white. And that you can relax and you can work. There is no set way of doing things, but then realize how you're going into the activity and how you're perceiving it as. Like, Mena said, you don't need to feel bad about it, and you can still use the energy to move you forward, yes. But if you just see it as well, I'm going to relax, and that's okay, giving yourself permission that it's okay, because we all need to relax. We are not machines to be constantly on and on and on, because then how you get, go into any activity, it will either drain the life out of you or give you energy. So that's really the question. So Madalena, does it give you energy to go and take action on your business in the evening when you are on the couch? Does that give you energy? If that gives you energy, then you can do it. If it doesn't give you energy, then, don't do it. Because if it's just going to add on to, because, I know that where you are, and if you're relaxing, like after work, then it's a good thing. Yeah. So you can, give yourself permission to relax. And also another thing is that you need to give yourself permission to know that anything is possible. You don't need to do anything. Yeah, I know. The mind kind of does that. You should be doing that. So what you need to realize is then, okay, my mind is saying that I should be doing that. Okay, so what am I going to choose to do about it now? You don't have to do anything. You can just go, okay, yeah, I see that you want me to do this. What do I want to do? Place the focus of the power back to you and not on your mind. And you can speak it out loud. You can, write it, but really make it conscious to you that, your mind is saying this, but actually you're feeling that you want to relax and you don't want to do that, so that you can find a peace between the two. Because otherwise, if you continuously give your energy to your mind, it's just going to continue and it just gets out of hand. But at least if you voice it or if you speak to it, then you know that you're taking charge of the situation. Does that help? Yeah, good. I'm glad. Just let me know how that goes, because that's really useful as well. Because then as you go forward, you're not continuously thinking about it, or you've given it a voice, but then you get to decide, okay, do I actually want to do this, in my business? Do I want to? Will it give me energy or not? But my brain says this. You can just say, thank you. No, I actually want to continue to relax, and then it's okay. Then you won't feel guilty. And that's the thing that I also wanted to mention, is that there are no set amount of hours or specific business actions that you should be doing in your business that will, guarantee you like instant success overnight. That is just not the case. Of course, everyone's different. Everyone's having their own journey. And something that I want to share that's personal, but I think it's so important because it will give you a scope of how anything is possible. Like last year, it was like, for me in my business, I worked a lot less and I focused on being with my daughter because, of course, it was the lockdown. But I chose consciously. I did not want to work during the day when there was lockdown, and this year as well, and just focus on being with her. And also minimize all distractions, notifications, online, unsubscribe from absolutely everything, leave groups, just really focus on being here in my life, living my own life, being present, and that's it. And only if I ever, if something came into my mind, then I would write it down, but I would not distract myself away from the present. And then I would have, as you know, client sessions at night. So I consciously chose that. And I also made a lot more income for the first time in my entire business last year than I ever did, because of being present in my life and for consciously really choosing the boundaries that I needed for myself. Because I could not imagine working during the day at all, because it didn't make any sense to me. And also I hired support, which was really helpful. I hired a cleaner during lockdown last year, and that really helped. And then I just kept hiring, and then last year again I hired a VA for doing design work, because I knew that it was going to take like a long time for me to do this, and I just didn't want to do that. I've been there, done that, and I didn't have the energy and the capacity to do that. So it's better if I give it to someone who's zone of genius. She loves doing that. I don't. I just get worn out. And that just made everything easier for me. And I realized that it had to be a non-negotiable in that way, so that I could give myself the support that I really needed, because I was with my daughter during the day, and that's a handful. She's 4. And I didn't want to be working during the day anyway, and I chose to only support my clients during the evening, and then really have support in other areas, so that I was really able to thrive in the way that would benefit me, because I can't imagine running around like a headless chicken. And I have done that in the past several years. That was me several times. And with this, it's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to have the support, and I knew I needed it, but I also had been avoiding it. That's the thing as well. If you have something that you want, really want, and then in your mind you think, oh no, I can't have that because, time, money, like different reasons, because it took me a while as well to get over those reasons in my head. But what mattered was me more than the reasons in my head. Because as soon as you choose you and what's inside, those reasons are just going to go away. Everything will open up. But it's like believing in what you want is valid and is good for you. That's where it needs to begin. And that's what I mean by you don't need to be like working 50 hours in your business or taking any action, like all the actions, because the most important thing is that you be you and do what you want. Do it from a place of love that is self-supportive to you, that you're caring for yourself in that you're giving yourself what you need, what you most want. Because when you do that, you will have inspired ideas, and then you will go take that action naturally, and it will be from, the fullness of you, because you're giving everything to you already. It won't be when you're, drained or giving everything to everyone. It will be from you giving it to yourself first, and then when you show up to other people, you will be able to do that from your own fullness, like your own well, where you're overflowing. And then, any action, action, it will come naturally out of you. You will just take the action because you will trust yourself. And so that's why I don't believe in taking specific, actions, because everyone's very different. So your own actions, when you're fully in yourself doing what you want, when you trust yourself, when you're really listening to your heart, and when your mind, is saying like the total opposite, when you're going through it, you will receive what you want. But it's having that trust and faith in you, moreover than the voices in your head that tell you otherwise. And that's really, the experience there, going through that. When you are overcoming any challenge, those voices in your head are just, there because it's your next level of experience and growth to overcome, to go through. And so it's because you want what you want. Amazing, really, because, you're here, we're all here to have this experience so that we can evolve and be who we truly are at the core, because, we've been living sometimes the expectations of others, the perceptions of society, and there is so much, especially if you're having a business, especially in culture, in family, in everything. There is so much that we can get attached to. But once you start doing what you want, immediately things shift, because your level of trust for yourself will increase. So it's good that you start to do that little by little each day, like, Madalena with sitting on the couch and, your mind saying you should be doing this, and you having that simple conversation with the mind, or just sharing out loud, what do you want to do? I want to actually just relax. Giving yourself that, choosing you over your mind, that's really the key. If you can do more of that each day, it will become a lot easier for you. You're very welcome, Madalena. So welcome. And do let me know how you get on, because you matter, we all matter, and our desires, what we really want, that is really an expression of our true selves. And there's nothing wrong, because I always also, get voices that I should be doing this or that, the other, like I said, about the cleaning. But that's something that I always do anyway. I just hoovered before, but in hoovering, I was in the good place because I wanted to do it. But yesterday, I didn't actually want to do it. And yes, there's sometimes that you need to do things, but it's really where your energy is, and not beating yourself in the process of that, but really figuring out where you are in that experience. And that will make it easier on yourself to go forward as well. And in those experiences, when you're up leveling, sometimes we can't really see at all anything. It's like really hazy and challenging. And that's really the time that I always emphasize to have support, because if someone can point it out quicker, it just makes it easier on you all round and guide you back on the track, instead of, going down the rabbit hole and moving into the overwhelm. And so that's what I've done for myself this year and last year, and I always continue to do that. But if you ever want to reach out or find out how you can work with me, just send me a message and I'm more than happy to let you know what I have on offer and we can have a chat. So for now, focus on doing what you want right now in each moment. It doesn't have to be like sky high big, but really, what do you want to do at this moment? And then trust yourself. And if those voices come up, you can just go, okay, so, in my mind it's saying I should be doing this, but thank you for sharing this, brain. But actually, what do I want to do? Oh, I actually want to go lay on the mat. And then as you're having that interaction, it won't be, your voice and what's going on in your mind. It wants to keep you safe out of protection, but it's not a bad thing. You just have to allow it to be and, have that conversation. And then you can go, oh, but actually I want to do this. And then you'll see the voice, it won't be there, or it will be less. And then you just go take the action. So it doesn't need to be as difficult as it may seem. You just need to learn to trust yourself with taking those little subtle steps in finding your own GPS, as it were, to do what you want. And then things just begin to get easier. You can allow yourself to experience what you want, do what you want right now. So have a great day. And it was really nice to have you both on. And if you're watching the replay, just feel free to share your own experiences. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. Bye.